Afternoon, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. Thursday, March the 31st. The big news in Arkansas today, at least from my point of view, doesn't really get underway until tonight. At 5:30 tonight, the State Board of Education is going to review whether to allow the expansion of two already large charter schools in the Little Rock School District. Baker Curris, the superintendent of the Little Rock District, is going to make an impassioned plea for the board to wait and do more data analysis. He's already distributed, and we printed on the Arkansas blog, a detailed report about how the growth of charter schools has created an isolated school district that's overwhelmingly black, poor, full of special ed and non-English speaking students. More charter schools would just exacerbate this and make it more difficult for the Little Rock School District to succeed. The Walton Family Foundation, which has been trying to take over the Little Rock School District for years, has turned out in force through its various lobbyists and paid consultants and its subsidized faculty at the University of Arkansas to argue in favor of the charter school expansion. The interesting wrinkle here is that the state controls the Little Rock School District. It's in the position where it may make a decision to contribute to more segregation in the Little Rock School District after 60 years of lawsuits against the state for doing that very thing. It may do so anyway. It will surely end up in court if it does. Elsewhere, there was an interesting hearing before the Senate and House Judiciary Committees yesterday about whether we should elect or appoint judges and whether we should require more disclosure of financing by people who buy ads in judicial races. The hearing was inconclusive. I think you could predict that we're not going to change the way we select judges. Elections will continue, and there's strong opposition to requiring disclosure of where money comes from in these judicial ads, particularly from the groups that have a lot of dark money to spend on this. So more or less the status quo will prevail. There are some potential ballot initiatives that could change that could come from the voters themselves. A committee, speaking of money and dark money, a committee has been formed and is already gathering money to pass a constitutional amendment that's going to be on the ballot in November. It's going to be a call to jobs amendment. What it really is to allow the state to spend more direct tax money in the form of corporate welfare on business expansions. It also is going to again legalize cities and counties giving money in the form of direct subsidies to chambers of commerce, which lobby for things that are against the interests of the poor people that pay the sales taxes from which the money is drawn to pay these chambers of commerce. The federal government put a pencil on the amount of money they've discovered was stolen by Department of Human Services employees and their friends in a fraud scheme to take federal money that was supposed to go to feed poor children after school and during the summer, and instead went into their own pockets. A whopping $10 million has been accounted for as stolen so far, frittered away by dozens of people. There have been 7 guilty pleas so far. City Director Ken Richardson of Little Rock has raised a question about a billboard company proposal to go digital on some big billboards along the Mills Freeway and elsewhere in town. They say they'll give up some billboards at other locations. He's worried about light pollution. He's worried about traffic distractions. These issues have not been discussed by the city board. Perhaps they'll be discussed a little bit more thanks to Ken Richardson at the meeting next week. Big news yesterday that happened after we taped. The Food and Drug Administration blew a hole in an anti-abortion bill that was passed in Arkansas. They finally updated the protocol on the use of the abortion pills, by which more and more women are now ending pregnancies in the very early stages. The Arkansas legislature, practicing medicine, said that women must use a protocol that promotes cramping and more bleeding and is dangerous and very uncomfortable for women in the name of protecting their health, of course. What it is a thinly veiled way to discourage abortions. The FDA has now taken apart that particular part of the bill. Perhaps the lawsuit will take care of the rest of it. As we mentioned yesterday, Little Rock native, Parkview grad, Wes Flanagan is going to be the next basketball coach of the men's team at Little Rock. The Trojans have a guy from home to lead them next year. And finally, I like to end these days most of the time with something light. This is not light at all, but it's crazy. The ACLU is investigating a teacher at Mills High School who decided to show his class The Passion of the Christ, which in itself is a controversial kind of message movie. I'm not sure you can bar a teacher from showing a movie and one like that if you have a rational, fair discussion. But he accompanied it with a study sheet that was clearly proselytizing and encouraging students to find how much Christ should mean to them in their lives. Students complained. They also taped the teacher making an extraordinary rant in his classroom about liberals and the ACLU and Democrats and demeaning remarks about black people as well. The teacher has been suspended. The ACLU is going to file an ethics complaint against him. This teacher, the ACLU said, was fired in a previous school district in Arkansas for referring to a student as a, quote, faggot, and even worse than that. So, free speech, religious liberty, you decide. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR, we are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.